In with you, Mheshimiwa Makalimulu, I could see you nodding and, perhaps asking rhetorical questions while the report was running by Hibak Said. What do you make of this whole conversation? How is the economy on the ground?
Yeah, thank you, George, for hosting us. Yeah. And maybe before I start talking about the economy,
yes, briefly,
I want to take just a second to condole the family which lost a student through stabbing by colleagues. And wish them well as they mourn their son. And what I would be keen on is what lessons have we learned from this for the future. Coming to the economy, any student of economics knows very well that we have what we call microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics focuses more on the household level. And when I listen to my friend John Mbandi and the other CS talk about the economy doing well, I believe they are talking about what we call the macroeconomics and not the household economics. Anybody who is interacting with the Kenyans, and this is what we do on a daily basis, will bear me witness that this economy is not working. Down on the ground, people are complaining, people have no money. The truth of the matter is that how would anybody say that the economy is working when the county governments have not been able to receive any money? Some are in arrears in terms of payment of salaries up to 3 months. And those who are managing to pay are only paying through bank overdrafts, which are very expensive to their local economy. How would you say the economy is performing well when the NGCDF, which is all over the country,
yes,
has not received all the money, even for the last financial year? How would you say the economy is performing when suppliers, those who have supplied the government services and goods, have not been paid? Some of them have been auctioned. Others have died as a result of blood pressure, stress, because they cannot even service their loans. How would you say the economy is functioning when so many students who are supposed to have joined the university have not managed to join the university?
Okay.
Because the new model of funding is not working. Okay. And so many, you can have a series and a series of issues.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying really, maybe those who are in the ivory towers might not be knowing what is happening at the ground. It's time we interact with the Kenyans. And I'm so happy because you have seen Kenyans from different parts of this country tell us how the economy is performing.
All right. Mheshimiwa Jude Njomo.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we really appreciate for inviting us. My reaction would be when I heard that piece of news, I thought maybe you have taken a piece of news from another country, maybe Azerbaijan or any other country, but not Kenya. Because all you have to do is to walk in the streets of Nairobi, and you see that about 30–40% of shops are closed on working days because there is no business. And we have to judge this government from the promises that they made to the people. Because when they were doing the campaign, they did not talk about the big business people. They talked about Mama Boga. They talked about Mudua Boda Boda. They talked about, those people at the bottom of the pyramid. Talk to them today. I had an opportunity over the weekend when I did Meet the People tour in my constituency and in Riburu constituency. And people are really complaining because there is no business, there is no money, because the economy has turned around. And this reminds us about some of the bad decisions that we have made. We have openly invited, competition in our country in the name of attracting investors, people who are coming to do the very basic things that we can do on our own. I'm looking at businesses like Uber business. Our people are relying on taxis and such other businesses. Then we invite international organizations who come and finish business for our people. And if we do not protect our people from such competition, we are doomed to fail.
Okay.
So when they tell us that the economy improving, we can agree, yes, there are some people who have their economies improved in this country. Those who are stealing from the government, those who are doing business without competition because they are awarding themselves tenders from government and parastatals. Maybe that is where they are doing their research. But if they want to get a good research, let them go and do it with Mama Boga, watu wa border and those. And they'll tell them how their inflation is doing. They'll tell them how their economy is doing. They'll tell them how they are affording to bring up their families.
All right. Arnold, UDA party campaigned on Hot Meshima, said Mama Mboga and all. And he says that the situation is different. Briefly, have things changed from the perspective of the party? Is that standpoint the view of the entire party?
You know, when you're talking about the economy, it's a little bit a much more complex conversation to have rather than having a left or right approach, a black or white approach to it. First of all, if you're going to look at the economy, you must actually, first of all, look at how do we then explain and put forth the way we observe stuff. George, allow me to actually say this, that if you're going to look at truth, truth has got at least 3 strands to it. The first one is objective truth. When you look at truth as objective, is that is scientific. You are looking at figures and you're looking at metrics, and can you apply a scientific approach to it? Yes, that is objective. Then there is the personal truth. Like, for example, you will believe, George, that you are tall. You believe that you are tall. The rest of us might not. That is your personal truth. And then, of course, there is political truth. Sometimes things are repeated. Like in this country, you will find people who tell you that certain communities, for example, are dirty. There's a political truth. If you meet them at individual level, that might not be there. Why have I taken time to actually take that tangent? Number one, if you look at the claims made by the people in government, are based on metrics that are universal and exist. You've just pointed out and looked at the inflation, rate of inflation. It's a metric. We've used it to measure. Are we where we are supposed to be? No. Are we where we used to be? No. It is that progress that we are speaking to. Because again, the economy is self-evident. You do not just rely on numbers only. You also have to talk about sentiment. And that's why I'm so careful not to rain on the parade of public sentiment. It's important. But I'm saying, look at the metrics. All of them pointed out. Last year, rate of inflation, let's talk about basic, or rather prices of the basic commodities. Are we where we were last year? And not there. So, George, we are not where we wanted to be, but we are not where we used to be. There has been progress.
Joshua, crunch the numbers for us. So they hold the view we are not, we are not doing well. He says we are somewhere, but not where we used to be, and we are not where we need to be. From an ISPAC perspective, where are we?
Thank you very much for having us in this conversation. I think one of the key things we need first to understand is that the economy, yes, is doing well in terms of, because the main parameter which our politicians or our leadership is talking about is on inflation. When you look at world inflation levels, it's coming down. In 2022, we were at 7% worldwide. 2023, we were at 5.7%. If you look on sub-Saharan Africa, in 2022, we were about 9%. 2023, we were about 7%. So yes, inflation is coming down. It's not about Kenya only, but what the leadership is not telling us, it's coming down, but other economies and the world globally is coming down. So what is pushing this inflation to come down? There are 2 main factors. One is fuel prices. We've known that the price of crude oil have been coming down over the years. So that's one of the major contributors for the Kenyan economy. Second is on the FX. So when it comes on FX, you remember last year, towards the tail end of last year, 2023, we were trading about 160. Now we've been managing the rate at 129. So what the leadership is doing, we are floating for us to look like we are doing well, and in actual sense, we are not doing well, because when you look on the past 3 months, FX, Kenya shilling to dollar, has been on 129.1 to 129.8. So meaning it's a managed currency. So when the Honorable Makau mentioned here that what the government is telling the citizenry is about the macroeconomics, that Kenya as a country is doing well, but me as a person, I'm not doing well. About 3.5 million who are employed last year, up to now, they have lost about 10%, 5% on pay, 1.5% on housing levy, 2.75% on SHA and SHIF, and again, maybe about 1% on NSSF. So even if we are saying that the inflation has come down from December, say from 6.8 to 2.7, that's about 400 basis points. That's 4%. But on my income, you've taken 10%. So you're bringing it down by 4%, then you take 10%. So ideally, I'm 6% worse off.
6%.
So we are not doing well as citizens. But the government is doing well, but as we are not doing well.
Let's take a pause there, gentlemen. We continue with the business, and then I will come back now to continue the full conversation right here. We have just lifted the lead on this whole conversation. That is the top layer, if you wish. Much more still lies ahead. Let's make sense of the sense.